Hello, my lovelies. How are you all doing this evening? I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are feeling really good. I hope you're feeling like a boss-ass bitch. That's what I hope. I hope you're all feeling fucking incredible this evening. We're just dropping all kinds of profanities at the beginning of this video because fuck it. I don't care. These videos aren't monetized, so YouTube can't do anything to me. Actually, they could. YouTube could be like, nah, that's it, cut her mic. Look, I took the necklace that I showed in one of my other crystal videos and I wrapped it around my wrist, so now I have motion. Bro, you're embarrassing me in front of my friends. Yes! So, like I like to do in every video. Ooh, she's spinning. She going off. She said, y'all gonna learn today. Beautiful. I would really like to open up my my box of wind chimes and then show those to you guys. I think you guys would love that. I think you guys would love the wind chimes that I have. It's been years since I've even seen them. They've been in the box for years. Usually my parents have been holding on to them for years for me because I started that wind chime collection before I got into college. So they've been holding on to that for me. And I forgot, I know there is one set of wind chimes that I have that's absolutely gorgeous. And I remember what it looks like. And they make the prettiest sound. So yeah, I would love to show you guys that at some point. Maybe I will in the future. But for now, let's get some water and let's get to yapping. Water just tastes so good to me. Like, it's crazy. But if I am being honest, I tend to crave more water after I have had soju, hanjan, beer, any type of alcoholic beverage. Then usually I'm very thirsty afterwards. So that's what I had for dinner. I had some Chinese food that was particularly good. I had some chicken and broccoli. I'm a very big protein and broccoli person. Broccoli is actually one of my favorite vegetables, if not my favorite vegetable. Y'all, I fuck so heavy with broccoli. Broccoli is so fucking good. And when I was a kid, a lot of people would be shocked. This is what my parents have said. I don't know if this is true, but my parents said a lot of people would be shocked. They were actually at a restaurant. I think they were at Golden Corral before it, yeah, because before that location closed down. They were at Golden Corral and I was in my high chair and I was eating and they noticed that there was a couple sitting at a table across from them and they were just staring at me. And they were like, hello, can we help you? Why are you staring at our baby? And they were like, how do you get her to eat her vegetables? Because our kids hate vegetables. And my parents were like, she just loves her vegetables. Her favorite vegetable is broccoli. Like, she eats the shit out of some broccoli. And then as I got older, two of my favorite shows growing up were Popeye the Sailor Man and the Looney Tunes. I used to watch the Bugs Bunny cartoons, and Bugs Bunny always used to eat carrots and hit the, hey, what's up, Doc? And then Popeye the Sailor Man always opened up the can of spinach and he ate it. And so I was big. I remember going into the kitchen and I would ask my grandmother to shave a carrot for me, like take all of like the stuff off of it, like shave it down, and then I would eat it. And I would sit there and I would watch Looney Tunes and I would eat carrots. And it was great. Those carrots didn't do a damn thing because I still need glasses. It's funny because one of my eyes is actually shaped weird. So it's like, it's not even like just that my vision is bad per se. It's my eye is literally just shaped weird. I wonder if that's how all vision stuff is. Tell me in the comments. When it comes to eye problems, because I am definitely going to forget to look this up, but when it comes to eye problems, are all eyes just shaped weird? Or are there some things where it's like, oh no, it's an internal thing with like your cornea or your retina or something? Ooh, excuse me, but I do need to go back at some point to get my eyes checked because my prescription is okay in my right eye, but my left eye is completely, like, the glasses are doing nothing. So I'd be driving like this. Not really. I'm safe. I'm a safe driver. But yeah, so spinach, carrots, broccoli. Fucking love vegetables, bro. Especially when you get them seasoned up good. So if you can like season up some like garlic with your broccoli and actually have like the garlic cloves. Shit's fire. Fire. I actually want some Singapore noodles. Like, I'm craving Singapore noodles, and I have no idea over here where I would even get those. There are a couple of places that I actually thoroughly enjoy food-wise that are not here in Florida. Fun fact, for those of you who have only ever lived in the South and you haven't gone up north, did you know that Krispy Kreme actually stops at a certain point? Like, once you get past a certain point and you're headed up north, there are no Krispy Kreme stores. It's only Dunkin' Donuts. It's like the North really does run on Dunkin'. At least Connecticut, Boston, New York, those areas, they're very big on Dunkin'. And let me tell you, when it comes to coffee, Dunkin' is 100 times better than Krispy Kreme, in my personal opinion. But when it comes to donuts, Krispy Kreme is better because for me, I don't like cakey donuts that are heavy. Like, I prefer donuts that melt in your mouth. Like, as soon as you eat them, they're just like, wow. It's like biting into a cloud. Ugh. Krispy Kreme is so good. But I've gotten to the point where, I think I've gotten to the age where my body just does not do a shit ton of like refined sugar like that. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll sit there and I'll eat Hershey chocolate and I'll just eat it because Hershey chocolate's like some of my favorite. But for the most part, I don't really do heavy sweets these days. I drink water. Actually, I'm about to tell you something. What I used to do is I used to get real cranberry juice from the store. Like, not sweet, just like tart cranberry juice. And I would pour it and I would do 1-to-1 with water. And it would be super tart, but it was so good. It was so good. When I was trying to wean myself off of beer when I was having like drinking problems, the things that I drank primarily were water mixed with tart cranberry juice and seltzer water. I know a lot of people do not like seltzer water and they're like, it's disgusting. It literally just tastes like TV static with a hint of like lime or a hint of whatever the flavor is. But that's actually kind of the point. Seltzer, for those of you that don't know, is actually really good if you're trying to wean yourself off of beer. It works. I was trying to figure out how, because I realized I had a drinking problem years ago. And then when I talked to some people about it who also were like, no, yeah, I'm, recovering. They were like, seltzer, get you some seltzer. And so that was me for a long time. I haven't had seltzer water in a minute though. Like, it's been a hot minute. I don't really drink soda now either because soda makes me break out. It's funny because actually milk chocolate actually makes me break out. And I had, in the last video, I had 2 pimples, one right here and one right here, and they were just like vicious. And so I had my little pimple popper kit and I worked on that earlier. And so hopefully tomorrow they'll be gone. They might not be. They might actually come back with a vengeance. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had a pimple and you're like, yes, fuck you, we're done, and then it comes back more powerful than before and like it's bigger and it's angrier? I've had that happen occasionally and then I feel bad and I apologize and I'm like, listen, I don't actually hate you. I need time. I need time to not have you on my face. And I just figured you'd be okay with that. But whatever. So yeah. It was a very good day because I got to have some Chinese food. I love Chinese food. Now I'm drinking water. What did I do today? I pretty much just chilled out today, as I've been doing every day. I've been doing a lot of stuff every day. And by a lot of stuff, I mean a lot of nothing. I hope you're ready for nothing, because that's what's been going down. Let's see. Was there anything of note? I cried today. Anything of note? I bawled my eyes out. Because I realized this feeling of being in love that I feel I've never felt before, and it's the feeling I've been looking for my entire life. and I finally feel it. And it's really weird to be in a position where you feel it and you don't have another person. And I really have been on some, so this is love, so this is love, so this is what makes life divine. I'm on a glow, and now I know the key to all heaven is mine. Like, bruh. I love this feeling. It's such a great feeling. It's so weird though. Like, it's really weird. It's really weird. But I'm more used to it than I was before. But I did cry today because I reflected back on where I was like 4 or 5 years ago and how just unhappy I was, and I was really just hoping that somebody would come save me from myself. And when I realized that that's not going to happen, and I had to work through things on my own so that I could save myself, so that I would be a whole person when I do meet my person. Like, once I did that, like, I've just been feeling so much better. So, bro, y'all are going cuckoo banana bonkers with these comments. 11 minutes and 23 seconds as I say that. Thank you all so much. You guys are so sweet. You guys are so sweet. How you've been commenting and liking my videos. Like, I'll get up in the morning and there's certain channels that I like to watch in the morning or in the afternoon, and I'll look over and the little bell on the side for the notifications is like 9+ notifications, and then I look and it's you guys, and it makes me so happy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my people. I've also had some comments on one of my other videos that didn't used to get any attention, and it's a cover I did of a jazz song called Night and Day, and I do it in the version that Ella Fitzgerald did. One of my favorite female vocalists of all time is Ella Fitzgerald. She was classy. She was elegant. She was poised. Like, this is living. This is style. This is elegance by the mile. The posh, troubling life for me. Bro, Judy Judy Make Wing. Go watch it. Unless you don't like musicals, then don't go watch it, because I would hate for you to be like, oh, okay, all right, she's singing because the movie's good. I'm singing because there's songs in the movie. So funny. But what was I saying? The fuck? The fuck did it go? Really? I literally just started singing for like 2 fucking seconds. Oh, yeah, so my cover of Night and Day, I enjoyed singing that song. 13 minutes and 13 seconds. So if 13 is your lucky number, you should go check that out. Maybe just see how you feel about it. Maybe you're a person who doesn't usually listen to jazz music, so you should maybe take a peek, listen to maybe, 15 seconds and see how you feel about it. Jazz is such a incredible genre of music because there's so many subcategories of jazz. Stepping up on my soapbox for a second, let me just step up. I've had a lot of people tell me over the years that they don't like jazz. They're like, it's boring, it's elevator music. Actually, to be more specific, elevator music is typically easy listening. Like, it's easy listening jazz, or it's Kenny G. Like, because that man's a legend, like, come through saxophone. And usually when I tell them about jazz, or I'm like, oh yeah, I sing jazz, they're like, it's kind of boring. And then I'm like, here, I'm going to send you some jazz songs. And then I send them some things that are by like B.D. Bell, or there's certain songs that Michael Bublé has sung that are jazz songs. And they're like, oh, this isn't boring. I'm like, it's not. It's just that typically when you hear jazz, you hear it on like NPR, on the radio. Growing up, we used to listen to NPR all the time with my grandparents. On the way from my grandparents' home, we would go to Gulf Shores all the time, which is like, it's at the base of Alabama, and it's right there at the base of Alabama, and then you go from Alabama like into like the tip of Florida on the side, just the tip. And we would listen to NPR like the whole way. And I loved it because the lady's voice was always super nice. Hi, welcome to NPR. And it was two people. It was Robert Siegel and Melissa Blanc? Hi, welcome to NPR Radio. I'm Robert Siegel, and I'm Melissa Block, and today we're going to be listening to Hans or Schubert's Symphony in A minor, or we're going to hear a story, written by the esteemed Elie Wiesel, blah, 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 blah. I loved NPR. NPR was so great. For a long time, I actually wanted to be a radio host. I say like you all know me, and like we're friends. Hi, friend. I actually wanted to be a radio talk show host. Or not like a talk show host, but like the DJ who comes on and they're like, welcome to WFM, whatever, at night in the evening. The next thing we're going to be listening to is some smooth, easy jazz by Sade. Like, I wanted to be that gal. I wanted to be her. I wanted to be her so bad. I actually, at the school that I went to, there was a day where we went, this was in Nashville, Tennessee, and I don't know if the place is still there. I have not been back to visit or tried to look at it to see if it still exists. But it was a place, what was it called? I think it was called Exchange City. Yo, this is a super memory. And essentially my whole class went, it was a field trip, and it's like a practice world where you sign up to get jobs and you do jobs in this, warehouse essentially that's made up like a town, and then you'd go there and they would give you money and you'd have a little job and then you'd have your lunch break, and it was like really interesting. I mean, now that I think about it, I'm like, you all thought you were slick training us to be fucking employees. Capitalism. Like, but I actually tried out and ended up being I think I was a DJ, if I'm not mistaken. It was me and one other person, and I interviewed for I filled out a little fake application, and I interviewed and I got the job, and I wanted to be a DJ, and that was something I had thought about in school. But then, maybe you don't know, but as I got older, hearing my grandparents and extended family and people around me when they talked about actual jobs that you would need to have, I was like, well, being a radio DJ or a radio personality is not like a real thing. I wonder if anybody else watching this video has been through that, where as a kid you had all of these things you wanted to do, like you wanted to be a fireman or an astronaut or a ballet dancer, or a radio DJ or something, but then as you were coming through school, you hit that wall, that kind of maturity wall where it's like, well, those things don't make you money, or those things they're not real jobs. So then you switch it and you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll be a teacher, maybe I'll be a lawyer, maybe I'll be a doctor or a nurse, and there's nothing wrong with those jobs. But I find it interesting that the creative aspect is usually left out. Like, the amount of schools that cut funding for art programs and creative programs and music programs is crazy to me. It's wild that you would cut funding to the subjects that are the reason why we even enjoy living in the first fucking place. Like, the whole falling in love bit. When you fall in love and you want to show how much you love somebody and you care for them, you're not just going to sit there and do math equations at them all day. You're going to tell them. I mean, maybe some people do, so let me not make assumptions. But for the most part, you're not just using your sciences, your maths, your history, philosophy. Like, no, you're also going to use music, poetry, artwork. Like, those types of things reflect the humanity that we have. It's really the big thing that separates us from machines, and I find it so interesting that capitalism and just the money hungriness of certain educational institutions, I'm very passionate about this. 19 minutes and 23 seconds. I'm very passionate about having better education in the US. I've put my money towards it. I'm definitely a person who believes that if you're going to sit around and complain about something that you don't like, you might as well hop on the bandwagon of putting money towards making that thing better. So it's like, for me, I don't do riots. I don't do like protests. I instead will put my money and time into spreading the thing I want to see, into getting it out there. And I think there's a place for protests, and I think there's a place where like there are people who are far like that's their thing. But I think I said at some point, maybe in a video in passing, when all of the Black Lives Matter stuff first started happening and people who were close to me were like, I'm signing on my, I'm doing my picket sign or whatever, and I'm gonna be out here, like, are you gonna go? And I was like, no, I'm not gonna go. And they were like, why? You're not gonna go out there? I was like, no, because I'm a person who prefers to spread information differently. Like, when it comes to war, if you think about how war works, there's so much other stuff that goes into it other than the people who are manning weapons on the front lines. You need logistical people to help you get to that point. You need people who are bringing in weapons, people who are making the weapons, people who are the medics who help people. I know in video games a lot of people shit on healers, and they're like, we don't need, but the truth of the matter is it really does take so many different roles for things to work. It's part of the reason I've always liked human resources, because a company does not run well without human resources. You can start a company like an Etsy, like if you have a business and you are owning your own business, and let's just say you're doing what my bestie does. She made this. She made both of these, actually. Behold. She made both of these, and she made these, and she made this. Come on, focus. Van Helsing, I don't want to go to Transylvania. So she made those, and she makes jewelry. So as a one person, she can make jewelry, but let's just say her business blows up, and she's getting over 100 orders a day, and she needs help. Well, she's going to need to ask some people to assist her. Now, something that's going to be important is breaks for these people. How are these people going to get paid? Are you going to offer benefits for your company? If you're not going to offer benefits, then how are you going to make up for that? Because most companies that are getting employees need benefits, some type of health insurance, dental, vision, W-2 forms, I-9s, where what if, my bestie, my friend, had people who maybe were not from here and they came from a different country, and now you have to deal with visas. There are so many things that happen behind the scenes for every company that has employees, and a big part of the reason we see unhappy employees is because HR is not able to do what it's supposed to do. Instead, the companies are cutting corners. They're trying to save money, and some of the first things to go are usually your human resource staff or human resource initiatives that keep people happy. Like, one of the big reasons I stayed at the company I was at in Boston, the hospital that I worked at, was because they had a lot of employee support resources. So they had discounts for like very good discounts, and I'm talking like 70-80% off for like massages. They would have harpists come in, and a harpist would play, and you could kind of go take a break from work and just sit in there and eat and listen to calming music. There was a yoga instructor that came in at one point and really taking care. So maybe 23 minutes as I'm talking about this, maybe somebody here is thinking about starting a company, and in your mind you see 2025 you are going to start, or maybe you're in the process of building a company and you see in your mind you want to do at some point, you want brick and mortar. For those of you that don't know, that means you have an actual place of business that you're wanting to run. For me, I actually have a couple of different businesses that I would like to run. I actually have like maybe five or six businesses that I have drafted up, and I would like to do these things. They're not musts, but I think they would be fun to do if I had like the right team with me to do it, because they're not solo projects at all. But if you're thinking about doing that, something that I would think about is having a human resources department. And some people will outsource this. I had a friend who, she actually worked at that same company in Boston with me, and I visited her. I actually stayed with her to get my back tattoo done, because I had already moved back to Florida, and I was in I was in Huntsville, Alabama. I was living in Huntsville, Alabama. And I was there, and I was like, I really want to get my back done, and I want to get my back done before I get too much older, because the older you get, the more like stretchy and thin your skin gets. Now you can drink water, and you can work out, and you can eat healthy, and you can kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? You can kind of like extend like the kind of elasticity of your skin. But as you get older, your skin tends to get a bit more sensitive over time. And so my tattoo artist was like, well, what type of work do you want to get done? And I was kind of telling him, I was like mapping it out of how I wanted to do it. And he was like, well, if you want to get your back done, you should probably get that done before you get into your 40s. And he was 50 something. And he was like, now I'm currently doing my back. And he's like, and it's really painful. I'm still going to do it. And it looked really great. He had like a unicorn and stuff back there. It was really nice. But he was like, yeah, I recommend you do it. So he did not usually take out of town clients, but he was my tattoo artist for 3 years while I was in Boston. Fucking love this man. I want to go back and get something done. I literally commented on one of his videos on Instagram, and I was like, ayo, Ian, I'm trying to come back. I'm trying to get work done. Like, I would love for him to do my sternum. Like, I would love that. I've contemplated doing like the center and then maybe something underneath the girls, but I don't know, because my ribs are actually pretty prominent underneath here. I'm pretty petite, and it's like, yeah, my ribs are pretty prominent. And I don't know if I want to do that, because I know tattooing on ribs is super duper painful. So maybe I'll just do like the center part. I don't know. And then also, if at some point I have children, which I would like to have, my tummy is going to, it's going to get a little bigger. And if that happens, do I really want tattoos on that area? I don't know. These are thoughts that I think about, you know, at random. If you guys have thoughts about that, I'll take them. I'll take them in the comments. I was about to say, I'll take anything in the comments. It's like, bro, cool your jets. The people are here to just talk. Just keep it PG. So yeah, I actually was living in Huntsville, Alabama at the time, and so I scheduled the appointment with him after I had budgeted. I planned the whole trip out. I started by checking the locations of where I would stay, and then when my coworker was like, you can stay with me, and I was like, excellent, so I'll be there for free. I'll put some money towards making sure that I take her out to eat a couple of times, because I don't, and you know, I'll bring something for her, like an apartment warming, 27 minutes and 27 seconds. So if you do stay with people, or if you're the type of person who's like, hey, let me lean on my friends, don't be a dick. Make sure that you are talking to people and that you are building a relationship with them before you call them and try to ask them to do things. And then if somebody offers for you to come stay with them, come on, you don't have to. And a lot of people say, you don't have to bring anything. It helps. If you know that your friend likes wine or whiskey, bring a little something. Bring a little something. If you know that they like cheese plates, bring them a cheese and meat plate. You know, with the nice mustard and the crackers and stuff. You know? Be a good guest. I have yet to visit a single person who has told me they don't want me to come back. If you're watching this video and I've stayed with you and you were like, nah, you sucked, tell me. Tell me in the comments. Because we gotta talk. I gotta figure out what I did wrong so that I could get my 5 stars on Yelp. But I like to cook. I like to clean. Like, this is what I provide when I go and I stay with people. So she was like, you can come stay with me, no biggie. So I was like, great, I'm not going to have to pay an arm and a leg for that. I budgeted for Uber money, and I really didn't need to Uber because I just rode the metro. Another reason why I liked the North a lot, because public transportation was just dope. I planned out my food, and then I bought the tickets, and only after, or no, I called. I made sure I had all that money saved up first. Then I called the studio and I was like, Ian, I'm trying to come get a tattoo done. When do you have? I'm trying to get my whole back done. Can we do it in one session? And he was like, yeah, like if you can sit. So I sat for 6 hours to get my back done. And it was so fun. It was like, I went there and I was only there for like a week and I got it done. And it was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was so great. I'm highly allergic to cats, and my friend, she had 2 cats, and I loved them. I was there, like, because I slept on an air mattress on the ground, and I was, like, having trouble breathing, because I would wake up in the morning, and I'd be like, why do I feel like I have a sleep paralysis demon sleeping on my chest? And I'd look, and one of the little chonksters was sitting right on my chest, and I was like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like how warm your butt is. Like, this is really uncomfortable. And you know how cats are. They just look at you like, fucking deal with it, bro. And they would just be there, like, nuzzling my nose and stuff. I fucking love cats. They're so beautiful. I posted a picture of my friend's cat on Instagram. And I posted a video where I was petting him because he's really scrunkly and cute. Oh, precious baby. Precious baby. Oh. I'm probably going to get a cat at some point. And my allergies are going to have to fucking deal with it. But, yeah, I don't know why I started talking about that trip. But, because of the... Oh, yes. So that friend of mine who I stayed with to get my back tattoo done, when I went up there, she's like, yeah, I left the company and now I work for a company that outsources human resources departments. So it was a company that created resource departments and hired staff and then would give it to a company that was an up-and-coming company that was maybe getting bigger that needed to have human resources. And something that she told me that was really interesting was that a lot of people tried to sidestep having a human resource department because they don't want to have to pay that type of staff. I get it. You want to save money and pay people who are working really hard, but the thing is that in order to support those people, you want to have human resources. You want to have somebody who their whole job is to support your staff. Happy staff, it's a happy environment. It is your customer service is better. When people treat their people right, there is a sense of loyalty there that is not seen in other companies. You have people who will take pay cuts if it's been a particularly hard year and the CEO of the company's like, yo, y'all, I do not have it to give y'all bonuses, but I want to do something for you guys. You know, what can I do for y'all? Like, I'm not trying to lose people. And people will say, oh, that's fine. I don't need a raise. I can do such and such, or we can do such. Like, people become so flexible when you show them that you fucking care. Surprise, surprise, people like being taken care of. So if you are thinking of, I said all of that long-windedness to say, if you are in the process of building a business, please consider the human resources aspect. Consider your staff. Take care of your people. Take care of your people. Because if a person is wanting to work with you, especially if you are at the ground level of your company, you want people who are ride or dies. Loyalty is such a great thing to have with employees, with people who want to work for you. 32 minutes and 23 seconds as I say that. You definitely want your people to trust you and to know that you have their back. Every company that I worked at where a manager bitched me out in front of a customer, or where the customer was on some fuck shit and they came at me about it, was a company that I was like, okay, so y'all don't care about me, so I don't really care about upholding the stuff that you want me to uphold. That's just complete honesty. If I ever worked for a company where I was busting my ass and I wouldn't get any attention, I wouldn't get any accolades, I wouldn't get any, you're doing a really good job, but then the minute a person complained, all of a sudden you have shit to say, I don't have shit for you. Fuck you. That's how I felt. That is honestly how I felt. And I still feel that way. But yeah, I am now at the part of the evening where crossing my legs is not working for me and I need to prop him up. Alright, I'll send you out here. Because I'm over here yapping. I also have other tips. Oh my gosh, I'm really leaning heavily into my entertainment business master stuff. So, if you are looking to start a business, I have a few tips for you. First thing is first, find a business plan template. Even if your business is not complicated, have a business plan. You can literally go on Google and find free business plan templates. You can go to ChatGPT or any AI. I know there are other AI websites, but you can find an AI website and you can look up business plans for, and then pick the genre of work that you are working in. Having a business plan shows people who have money, who you may run into, that you are serious about your work. Okay? So, even if it's not a good business plan, but the business plan will help you think about things. It will help you think about important aspects of your business that a lot of people don't think about. And then when they launch their business and they're really excited, and then those things kind of crop up and it kind of fucks them up. And now their business is going under, they can't find funding, and there are all these problems. You don't want to run into that. So look for a business plan template and just start filling it out, like in your free time. If you've got other stuff to do, like if you're currently working for a company and you have an idea for your own business, get a business template and play around with it. Fill it out. Something that I actually really, something that I suggest is go on Canva. Go on Canva and look up, let me see if I can remember. Look up anything that has to do with, I can't remember the term. What was it? It was a business plan. Essentially, it's the aspect of your business that deals with how you're bringing in income, what you're paying for, what are the resources that you need to start your business. It's all of that stuff. I wish I could remember the term. Damn it. I wasn't prepared to be talking about this, or I would have looked this up. I would have wrote it all down and brought it in, but these are unscripted. But anyways, look up things like that, because in the time of, us being able to run our own businesses and have our own businesses, you might as well. Also look up the legalities. Check that out. What do you need as far as a permit? Again, if you want to have a brick and mortar business, which some people want to do because they want a place where people can come. It's a lot easier if your business is online though, because then you don't have to allocate funds specifically to a building where you're going to have overhead, you're going to have to pay for utilities, you're going to have to pay for, AC and all that kind of stuff, water and things like that. But yeah, so I don't know, somebody out there, I want to see what you do business-wise, because I was just moved to share all of that business information. That's really interesting. Again, if you're a person who is interested in entertainment business, I honestly would look up, again, I'm not like supported in any way by any institutions, but look up like business degrees, because it's such great knowledge to have, especially if you are a creative person who is thinking of coming up with your own businesses and trying to get things off the ground. It's very beneficial. Also, you have to make sure that you allocate funds for your marketing. A lot of people really lean on marketing online and they're like, that's the only thing I do. But there are so many other avenues that would make you even more relevant, because there are people who don't get online a lot. And you'd be surprised. There are actually a lot of people who are like, I don't like that I'm chronically online, so they try to decrease their screen time. So being able to put ads in magazines, I actually had an idea that I will share. I did a hypothetical business when I was at Full Sail, and my hypothetical business, I can't remember exactly what it was. It was something simple. It was very complicated at first, but then, because for the entertainment business master's program, what you do essentially, they treat you as though you are going to own a business. And so even though I came in just to learn and I didn't have a business, I had to create a hypothetical business so that I could continue through the program. And at first, the business did 5 or 6 different things because I'm a tryhard. But once the 3rd month hit, I was like, oh no, I would go into debt with a business like this. So the business only does 2 things. I forget what I did, but what was I saying? My sister's turning on her fan and her noise machine. I love having noise when I go to sleep. If I had a TV and I lived alone, I'd probably just turn the TV on and let certain shows play like on repeat. I'm definitely that person. But I have a fan. We have a ceiling fan, and then she has a personal fan, and then we both have noise machines. Hers is typically on thunderstorms and mine is typically on a fireplace. So our room is very like there's noise. I cannot sleep in silence. I can't sleep in silence personally because I can actually hear my heartbeat. I can hear it. And then I can also hear the electrical currents that are happening in my mind when it's just quiet. And I know some people are like, what do you mean quiet? When I was living at my ex's dad's house, we were living there, the only noise, because they did not have fans, the only noise was the AC unit. And when it went off, it was silent. Like, you could hear a fly fart in the next room. It was so quiet, and I could not sleep. Eventually I was like, bro, I'm gonna kill somebody, because I'm not getting any sleep, because I'm not used to it being completely silent. Like, I've fallen asleep outside before, and that's fine, because I can hear crickets, I can hear the wind, I can hear, again, living in the South, cicadas in the trees. Like, there's natural noise that happens when you're outside, but when you're in a house or you're in an apartment and the walls are thicker, you can't hear shit, especially if you're in a carpeted room where everything's absorbing the sound. So I had to buy a noise machine. And my little noise machine, that noise machine is quite a few years old, but it does the trick. I only ever use the thunderstorm. I use the fireplace. Occasionally in the mornings, I'll use like the ocean with the seagulls, because I'm like, I want to feel like I'm on vacation. But I can always tell when we're ready to go to bed, because the room goes from being like like we're just kind of moving around, to there being two noise machines on and the fans go on, and I think it's just so funny. What was I talking about before this? Sorry. But yeah, my little entrepreneurs. But yeah, I would definitely look at like business classes. You could take free business courses online. Again, Coursera is one. You can actually go online and look up free classes, like free business classes. Now, you probably won't get credit for a lot of those, and for a lot of people, if they're taking free classes, I know they're trying to sometimes transfer them into the school they're going to for their degree path, but you could do free classes online. You just won't get a credit for it or a certification. But the thing is you want that knowledge. It's the knowledge that you want. If you're going to have a business and you want to be successful in a country where anybody and name mama can make a business, and you want to be successful, you owe it to yourself to do the research, to take the time. Again, the time's going to pass regardless. At some point, I'll be doing a video and it will be December of 2025. That's my hope. My hope is that I make it to December 2025. And the time will have passed. So you might as well get up on it. I know there's some people who gloom and doom, and they're like, capitalism and Trump being president or Biden being president and everything's going to go down the drain. And I just can't live like that, personally. I can't live in a constant state of, what if everything goes to shit? Because then what's the point in doing anything that day? For me personally, 42 minutes and 42 seconds. So maybe you know people, or maybe you have been a person who you have been concerned with the future of America. And for those of you who are very involved in politics, I respect that. For those of you who like to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on, I respect that. Something that is important to remember, though, is please do not put your whole life on hold because you're worried of something that is going to happen. I know people personally who were the doomsday prep people, and they would spend all of their time preparing for a date where they just knew some shit was going to pop off. They stopped seeing friends, they stopped going out, they stopped having aspirations, they stopped trying to do things, they stopped being happy, and they just became these very stressed and nervous people who were just kind of holed up in their homes all the time. I mean, if that's the type of life you want to live, I don't judge. You could do that, but I don't want to do that. Like, the amount of people I know who have been worried about stuff like that. The concern is valid. It's valid if you've been paying any attention to what's happening here in the US. And if you are watching my videos and you don't live in the US, things got very stressful here. It's been stressful for a couple of years, but at the same time, you can't let that get in the way of you doing things that make you feel fulfilled. You getting out there and helping other people. You know, if you're a person who you're very into, I want to help this country be in a better place, personally, if you're watching this video, then maybe this is the kind of perspective that may help you not be as stressed. find things that you support to put your money or your time or your resources towards. I am very big into volunteer work. I love volunteer work. Volunteer work is so fulfilling. And you can go on Google, Bing, whoever. I was using, Ecosia. I was using Ecosia for a while because they plant trees with every search that you do. And I would find charities. I would do research on the charities just to make sure that the money that I'm sending is going where I think it's going to go. I would go out to different businesses and be like, do y'all need help doing X, Y, and Z? Do you need help cleaning? Do you need help with paperwork? And for me, it feels so much better to be able to go out and give back than to sit at home and complain about how you don't like what's happening. Because anybody could do that. It's free. It is free, and it costs nothing to have an opinion of how sucky you think everything is. It takes no intelligent thought. Honestly, if I'm being real with you, it takes no intelligent thought to complain. It's actually something we're kind of raised to do. We're raised to be complainers. So 45 minutes and 45 seconds as I say that. So if you're a person who you know somebody who's constantly complaining, bro, you have my permission to ask them and be like, so you complain a lot about a lot of things. What are you actually doing to... What energy are you putting towards the positive? And if they're like, well, I've got all this stuff that I'm doing. Well, you clearly have time to complain. And I would say there's nothing wrong with complaining, but there is actually something wrong with complaining consistently. Because what you're doing is you are exhausting your mental faculties. All of the free space that you would have in your head to do amazing, wonderful, creative, supportive things, you're taking all of that time and you're complaining. And the thing about our brains is our brains are amazing little computers. So they have the ability to focus on whatever we choose to focus on. And they obsess over whatever we choose to obsess on. So if you're constantly talking about negative shit and if you're constantly in a complaining mode, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? You're going to see more of that shit. That is what happens. That's what happens. You're gonna see more. And a lot of people say, well, yeah, because there's so much out there. There are people who I know who they have witnessed these things, but they keep it pushing. They actually see more positive stuff than they see negative stuff. Because it's out there. It's out there. I remember when Trump was elected president, and please keep your political opinions to yourself. Do not put those in these comments because this is not really the place for that. But just saying, I remember when Trump got elected, the amount of people I knew who flipped the fuck out. And, they had very valid reasons for flipping out. But I was like, I'm not concerned. And they're like, why are you not concerned? And I was like, because I'm out here doing things. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm putting my energy where I can put it. Instead of glooming and dooming, I'm getting out here and I'm doing things that benefit me, that benefit my family, that benefit my friends. I am putting the positive energy that I want to see, the change that I want to see in the world. I'm out there doing it. I don't have time to complain about this. I don't want to have time to complain about this. I would much rather be happy as I'm doing things. And, when I say this, I don't really mean to slap anybody on the hand. I'm not trying to tell you, how to live your life. I'm not trying to tell you to stop sometimes I'm like, stop doing it, but it's because I feel to say stop because there's somebody, if you're watching this video, you are needing a boost. You are here for me to tell you something that maybe you don't want to hear from other people who are close to you. Maybe you needed to hear it from a tiny stranger wearing a fuck ton of jewelry with a wig on. And that's totally fine. We each need to be convinced in different ways. But what I mean by that is you are allowed to live the life that you want to live, right? And while we are free to live the lives that we want to live, we are not free from the consequences of those lives that we choose to live. So you can choose to be an asshole. You can choose to say, well, because I was fucked over in all of my other relationships, I'm going to be a dick. You are free to do that, but you're not free from the consequences of what will happen if you do that. You're not free from people treating you worse. You're not free from the karma that's going to come from that. You're not free from that. A lot of people don't realize that. I at one point was like, I'm going to be in my villain era. I dropped that immediately because I realized that's not actually what I wanted. I was like, I don't really want to be in my villain era. I don't want to be out here making more problems for myself. You could be doing amazing things. You could, 49 minutes and 49 seconds. You could be sending money to charity. You could be out here building schools, building houses for the homeless, and you still gonna get haters. So why would you increase the amount of haters that you have by being a dick? I mean, sometimes we're just dicks, you know? Like, sometimes it's fun to be a bit of an asshole, especially to people who are an asshole to you first. Like, for me, I will never forget this. This shit was so funny to me. I worked at Panera. And when I worked at Panera, one of my favorite things to do was to make the sweet tea. And this was before they got really, like, anal about how they made their sweet tea. And when I was there, it was interesting because I would taste the sweet tea and be like, this is nasty. And I was like, do y'all get people ordering sweet tea a lot? And they were like, I mean, not really. I was like, this is why, because it's nasty. It's gross. And so when I would make the sweet tea, before things got really tight, I would make the sweet tea, and I made it like how I was taught to make it. And so it tasted really good. You know, I used the same ingredients that they used. I didn't do anything weird to it. Like, health, we're all about people being healthy. I just put a little bit more sugar in it. And I steeped the tea for just a little bit less time because they would steep the tea like really long, and I was like, it tastes burnt. It's nasty. It was nasty. And I made the tea. Sweet tea sales went up at that location, and I was very proud of myself. There was one lady. She was a regular. Did not like her. Hated this fucking lady because she would come in on some rushing energy. It's like, I only have this much time for lunch, so chop chop. Chop chop, salad boy, was essentially how she was. And I did not like this woman. She always came in on some fuck shit. She was the type of person who would choose somebody out for, like, if the table that she wanted to sit at was dirty because people just left, she would walk up to the counter and be like, I need somebody to clean that table off so that I can sit there. So if you're in such a rush, why not pre-plan? Like, why not get your food prior? Why not order it, like, through mobile and have it ready when you get there? Why would you come in and stand in line and she had the most complicated order known to man. Again, I don't mind people being like, hey, I'm in a rush, I got work. I don't mind people having complicated orders. What I do mind is when you come in, you're on some dick energy and nobody gave you that energy. So at some point, I had just emptied out all of the sweet tea because it was old. It was past, for those of you that don't know, I don't know if Panera still does it, but they had fresh coffee and fresh tea. And you would have it was out for a certain amount of hours, and then you'd throw it out and you would make new because it was old. And so I emptied the tea, and she was like, I really want a sweet tea. And I was like, I got you, but the tea is steeping. There is no rushing this process. Like, you gotta have it. And she complained. She complained to the manager. And the manager was, for the most part, on my side. He was like, I'm sorry. Like, we put the tea out. We gotta replace it. And she complained. And then she ran me ragged. She kept coming up and asking me for stuff. And I was like, okay, all right, I got something for you. Because she was a regular. And after she left, they were like, she's a regular and she's like that. She's a bitch. And I was like, cool. That's fine. So every day, I made a note of what time she came in. And I made sure there was no sweet tea for her when she came in. I did it. I made sure that there was no sweet tea for her, and I moved as slow as possible. I actually, when I knew she was coming, I was like, you could put me on the cash register, and I'd be up there moving slow as hell. And I'd be like, oh my God, I'm sorry, our computers are down. I was on some petty shit. This was years ago. I couldn't stand this lady. I was like, I got time. I had time to get on her nerves. She hated to see me coming, and she would complain to the manager, but I was one of the favorite people that worked there because I would come out from behind the counter and I would walk around the store and be like, is everything okay? Can I grab something for you guys? I really went over and beyond. They asked me if I wanted to be a manager, and I was like, nah, because I see how y'all managers be working. Y'all don't have lives outside of here. I can't do that. And the pay increase was not good enough to justify me being there like that. I don't know why I started on that. Oh, because people being dicks. Like, come on now. Come on now. Just don't be a dick. I've heard so many influencers say this, or people online who've been like, bro, it's not hard. Is it really that hard to not be a dick? And apparently it is. Apparently it's a struggle for some people. I'm like, bro, find happiness. Go get laid. Go out here and get something. Go touch some grass. Drink some water. Go on a walk. You know, relax. Jeez, 54 minutes and 54 seconds as I say that. So somebody watching this, relax. Relax your mind. That's really what I'm talking about. If you're like, well, I work all day, I got it. Take some minutes. Take at least 5 minutes. If you have a bathroom break, go to the bathroom. And while you're in there, take some deep breaths, my guy. Chill out. Ooh, that was a nice back crack. Bro, I love this bra. This bra is so nice. So supportive. But yeah, just chill out, man. It's not that deep. We are literally on a spinning rock floating in the middle of the goddamn universe. It's not that deep. Nothing is that deep. For me, that's when life started getting really fun for me. When I would start to realize, and I would say to myself, nothing is that deep. It's not that deep. So I would be at work, and other people's emergencies were frequently brought to my desk when I was in Boston. And they'd be like, I need this done before tomorrow. And I'd be like, well, I have other things that need to get done. I have other people who have said, I need this done by tomorrow. And they got here first. So, well, this just has to be done. Then you do it. I started to get, bro, I remember I used to be a people pleaser when I worked in like retail and the service industry. I was just so used to allowing managers to talk to me crazy because I was like, I really need this job. And if I lose this job, I'm not going to have any money. Little did I know everybody was hiring. This was years ago, back when I was like 17, 18 years old. And I remember the first job that I got into where I was like, my manager said, I think it was Panera. And my manager said, he came out and he was like, I need you to stay. And I was like, I can't. I have plans after I get off work. And he was like, well, such and such isn't coming in, so I need you to stay. I was like, no. I'm leaving after my shift. And he was like, well, you signed the contract when you came in? I was like, I don't give a fuck what I signed. You didn't come out here and ask me a damn thing. You didn't come out here and say, hey, Yasha, somebody didn't come in, and I know you probably have plans, but do you mind staying? No, you came out here on some, I'm about to make my problem your problem energy. And I told this man, I said, that sounds like a you problem, and go ahead and fire me, and watch this entire salad and sandwich line fall apart. I looked at him like this. It was the first time I was so done because I was one of the hardest working people. I really was a people pleaser. I would do extra shit all the time. If you were going to own a business, please make sure you take care of the people who work hard. Because I've been in so many jobs where the managers have their favorite people that they let slide all the time. And those people don't work hard. Those people don't care. If this company, 57 minutes and 7 seconds as I say this. So if you are a manager and you are working somewhere, please take care of your hard workers. The people who are typically picking up shifts who come in and they're taking care of things, do not throw those people on the back burner. Take care of your people, bro. Take care of your people. Because then, if you don't, you create cynical ass people who skip work and they find other jobs. And now you're understaffed. And now your clientele's pissed off. And all you had to do was take care of your people. That's all you had to do. I understand. Sometimes places are short-staffed. I understand sometimes people are upset. I get it. I get that life happens. I get that things happen and sometimes you gotta play the heavy. But I've seen way too many managers let the bad people slide because the bad people have been working there for 10 plus years. And they have seniority. And then your new people who are here, who are hard workers, who are getting it in, who could potentially be people who stayed, don't want to be those people because you're treating them like yesterday's oatmeal. Don't do that. I love how I said at some point, I'm not trying to slap you on the hand. I'm really not. This is just I'm very passionate about people in the workplace being taken care of. Again, I must really care. At some point, I'm gonna own a business. I don't know what business this will be, but at some point, I'm gonna own a business, and I want to make sure that my people are taken care of. And there's always things that you can do to take care of your people. There's always things to do. But we all know, anytime a manager's like, well, we can't do anything money-wise, but we can give you congratulations. Well, congratulations ain't gonna pay these bills. You think I'm gonna call the utility company and be like, yeah, do y'all take congratulations? And they'll laugh in your face as they're turning off your utilities. Again, I get it. I get that sometimes a company can't do things, but companies typically, there are ways that companies, 59 minutes and 59 seconds as I say this, there are so many ways that companies can save money. But because so many people are very tradition focused, or they have an idea of how they want their company to run, they're not willing to brainstorm better ideas. You've got to be willing to brainstorm better ideas and do something different. Hollywood has this problem. Hollywood is frequently making poo-poo movies. They're garbage. Hot, stinky shits. It's as if somebody, no cheek contact, just, like, it's garbage. And it's because they really don't want to venture out into new territory because they're afraid that they won't make money. Well, you haven't been making money for years. Like, they'll have a movie that comes out and it's a banger and everybody loves it, and then they're like prequels, and it's like, what? Bruh, you got all this money. You got all this money. You have so many people out here who are submitting scripts to Hollywood that are good-ass scripts. I have seen some of them. I have seen some good-ass scripts, and I'm like, yo, the budget for this movie is not very high, and that's actually a phenomenal movie idea. A lot of people would fuck with this, and those are the things that get scrapped for another fucking... I was about to say Sharknado, but those movies have a... I have not seen all of the Sharknado movies. I've seen reviews of those movies, but I really want to sit down and watch them because I have a soft place in my heart for bad movies. I love B movies. I love B movies because you can talk through them. You can joke through them. They're great if you're trying to, like, get high with your friends, you know, and you're trying, like... Or you're trying to have, like, a night where... Whoa, I'm trying to strangle myself. 1 second, y'all. You see my pimple? But yeah, I love B movies. I love B movies. I also love old movies that aren't that great. Love them. There's a movie, There's a movie, it's not actually a B movie. Muppets from Outer Space. I have been trying to find this movie for so long. And I found one website that had it. And I was like, where'd it go? But it was, like, rented, so I couldn't watch it. Muppets from Outer Space, I quote it all the time. I love that Pepe is getting all the attention that he deserves right now. Like, the memes that are like... when the face that you make when crazy shit happens. Pepe is amazing. We love Pepe. We love Pepe. I love when he, in Muppets from Outer Space, there's a scene where they have broken into a facility. Because the whole point of the movie, if you haven't seen it and you plan to see it, spoilers. Spoilers. I'll hold my hands up like this when I'm done, because I don't know how long this is going to take. So you can, like... pause and then, like, move, or you can mute, and then when I put my hands up again, I'll not be talking about it. But essentially the whole point is that Gonzo, for those of you who are into the Muppets and you follow Muppet lore, Gonzo is a whatever. Like, everybody else is like an animal or a person, and you know kind of where they come from, but Gonzo is like, there aren't any other, like, creatures that look like me. And essentially his people, they are aliens. They are from a completely different planet. And so they actually go into this, like, Area 51 facility, and they're trying to find information so that Gonzo can contact his people and everything. And there's a scene where they're all, like, in the hallway, and Pepe has gone off on his own to do things, and then he comes back and he's like, la 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 la, and he's wearing, like, pink earrings, like pearl earrings, and a tutu, and they're like, whoa. And he's like, I should go change, okay? Like, he says okay after he says everything, and then he goes and changes. Pepe's one-liners fucking kill me. I'm putting my hands up because that's the end of the spoilers for but Pepe's one-liners kill me. He is just frequently funny. Like when he says in the movie, Rizzo is like, Pepe, we have to tell him. Like, we have to tell this person the truth. And he's like, if you tell him, I'll smack you. I'll smack you like a bad, bad donkey, okay? And the way he delivered it, my guy who puppeted Pepe had me weak. I was crying. His delivery was phenomenal. I love Pepe. I love when he's playing, I think he's playing poker at some point in the movie, and he's like the king wins, and they're like, no, and he starts singing, you've got to know when to hold him, know when to fold him, know when to walk away. Bro, that shit killed me. Pepe is funny. The Muppets are hilarious. They're hilarious. I love the Muppets, bro. I'll sit there, I'll get drunk or get high, and I'll watch, like, you know, Muppet stuff. It's so great. It's great. I actually look up why they're called Muppets and not puppets. It's not the reason you think. I can't remember what the reason is, but the reason is not what you think. Look up why Jim Henson calls the puppets Muppets. And that's actually a very interesting tidbit that you can pull out at parties and be like, oh, I actually know why they're called Muppets. Yeah, you can be that guy. I'm the person who anytime somebody's like, oh yeah, I'm watching Lord of the Rings for the first time, I'm like, did you know? And if you've been online and you've seen anything, you know what I'm going to say. You know it's about Aragorn, and you know it's about his toe and how he broke his toe on set. But there's just so many... There's so many movies that are so great. 2025 this year, I really want to watch more movies. I do. It's just, I'm so used to watching the same movies over and over again because they make me laugh. Like this year, I'm actually really obsessed with the idea of laughter. I want to laugh a lot. I want to laugh a lot this year. And I've been doing pretty good. Like I say in every other video, there's a podcast that I be watching. It's called the Clooless Podcast. I actually am going to link that in the description because I talk about it all the time and I haven't put a link in here. Nobody has asked me for it, but if anybody is watching these videos and you do what I like to do, which is you just lurk, so you don't like the video, you don't comment, you don't subscribe, but you're here for the content, I put those things in there for you guys so that you can go find it. You're like, damn, I really would have liked to know what she was saying about this, but I don't want to comment. Like, I got you. You're totally fine. I love how we've spanned a couple of different topics in this video in particular. I thought the light's on. I was about to say, I thought the power went off because I thought I heard my sister's fan go off. It's actually getting kind of warm in here, so we may need to turn the AC up a little bit. But Florida's been on some weird shit the past couple of days. Like, I hate it when I'm talking and I get like this white film that happens because you have chapstick on. Like, that's gross. Eh. But yeah, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, Florida's been on one. Florida has been on one with this weather. It's been so cold randomly, and I know for those of you who live in cold places and you're like, it's nothing. Here's the thing. If it's 75 every day and then randomly one day you go outside and it's fucking 30 degrees, you're gonna be pissed. If you're used to living in a location where everything is about 60 degrees and you're comfortable there, and then one day you go outside and it's fucking 90, you're gonna be pissed. That's why Florida people are pissed right now. It's not necessarily because we hate the cold. I mean, some people do. But for the most part, it's just, it wasn't expected. Like you're living your daily life and then all of a sudden you're trying to figure out why, you know, you've got snotsicles stuck to your face. Like, that's where my irritation comes from. It's just the not knowing. And then you make the assumption, I make the assumption that, okay, it's been cold for like the past 3 days, so I go out in a coat and now it's fucking 80. And now I'm carrying around a coat and I'm sweating buckets. I'm very excited to move out of Florida. I can appreciate everything Florida has to offer. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate Universal. I appreciate Universal a lot, actually. I like the beaches, particularly Cocoa Beach. Cocoa Beach is great. I actually am a fan of Melbourne. I like Melbourne. Miami's okay. Miami's alright. Orlando proper, meh, it's okay. I like these locations. They're okay. I don't want to spend the rest of my life here. I'm Gucci. I could go many places. I've considered going up north. So, because I lived there for 3 years and I loved it. So, New York, Connecticut, Boston, like those areas. But I've also considered moving in a place maybe I haven't lived before. So, I've only ever lived on in the South, close to the East Coast. I've never lived in the center of the US or on the West Coast. And I think it would be interesting to venture away from the South to see what's happening, because it's crazy how culture is different in different locations. So it was drastically different moving from the difference between people in Tennessee and people in Florida is very different, and then the difference between people in Tennessee and people in Alabama is very different, even though they're both technically the South. And then all of those states are very different from people who live in Connecticut and Boston and New York, obviously. So I'm just wondering if I go out more in the center of the US, and I actually am a super fan of seeing tornadoes. I know they're damaging and I hate that they do damage. I would like to actually go and see tornadoes in in open fields where the storm chasers see them. 1 hour and 11 minutes, so I'm looking at 3 ones on my screen right now, and 1 represents new beginnings. I would love to go on a tornado tour. They do them. They hold them, where you have people who they will predict where the tornadoes, where small tornadoes are going to be, and they will take people out on drives. They won't go super close to them. It's a safety issue, obviously. I think they make people sign waivers because obviously you would want to do that. But that is something that I've always kind of wanted to see. It's again, I'm very big into wind. I'm very big into nature just popping her fucking pussy, okay? I'm very into it. I'm very into when nature does crazy stuff. I love thunderstorms. And this is actually something I've appreciated about being in Florida. I understand that they do damage. So when I say this, I know that there are people who they have lost family members, they have lost property, they have lost pets, they've lost cars. The devastation that natural disasters cause, I hate it. I do not like it. 12 minutes and 12 seconds on the hour as I say that. The devastation, I don't like that people get hurt. And most people who have special interests that have to do with tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, people who actually end up going into fields where they record those things for science so that we can better prepare for them, they get it. We understand that there's a lot of damage that's done, but we are just fascinated by the raw power that nature shows us in these things. So for me, I've been in a few hurricanes where power has gone off, there has been flooding and things of that nature, and I have just been literally right outside of my garage just taking it all in, because winds at that speed, rain at that speed, that type of power is just unmatched. It's unmatched. It's incredible. I find thunderstorms, I find lightning, I find heavy rain, I find snow, blizzards. It's just impressive. It's crazy. I actually wanted to be funny enough, I wanted to go to space as a kid, and I think I said this in another video, but I found out there was a lot of math involved. But the same type of awe that I feel like I would have being in space and looking back at planet Earth, looking back at home, I feel like it's a similar awe to watching just big things in nature take place. People who have seen tornadoes from a distance, people who live in Oklahoma, they're the people who've seen it for the first time are it's awe. It's terrifying, but it's also one of the most impressive things to see, because what you're looking at essentially, yes, this is a special interest of mine, what you're looking at essentially is a funnel of wind that started. You have high pressure and low pressure, cold air and hot air, that is in the perfect position that it creates a funnel that picks up things. It's picking up cows, it's picking up cars, it's picking up buildings, it's tearing off roof from homes, and bro, my mind is blown. And they can be miles across. It's wind. That's all a tornado is. Yes, there's lightning, yes, there can be rain, but the bulk of what a tornado is it's wind. It's the same thing you feel when you step outside and you see the wind in the trees. It's just a more intense adult version of that. And that to me is just crazy. That's crazy to me. We live on a planet where stuff like that happens. I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed by Mother Nature. I'm one of those people who are like, I try to find a way to decrease my carbon footprint, and then of course research was done that was like, yeah, a lot of people are obsessed with decreasing their carbon footprint, and it's good to do that, but really the large companies that are causing like the oil spills and doing all this stuff, they are the ones who should be decreasing it, you know. But then again, we did see when COVID first happened and a bunch of people were in lockdown, we saw a lot of animals return to places where they hadn't been. We saw waters and lakes and streams and rivers and stuff clear up. Like the planet kind of started to begin healing itself when we stopped being just out there fucking with shit. And I think there's a way for human beings to live in harmony with things. I forget what it's called, but you know, like in anime, it'll be like post-apocalyptic where like plants and trees have kind of grown up around buildings, 16 minutes and 16 seconds as I say this, and like where everything kind of starts to return to the earth, but then people are living in it, so they're using windmills and stuff that are charged by solar power. I just think that that's so cool. I think that's so cool. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I love it so much. In the video game that I played, Stray, at the very, very beginning of the game, no spoilers, you get to you see that type of world. It's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. There are a couple of areas like that in The Last of Us too, where you're looking and you're like, wow, like nature really grew up around this thing, around these buildings, and like it's just I get emotional when I see stuff like that. Like it really moves something in my chest. It's my heart. It could be gas, but I would like to think it's my heart. But I love stuff like that. Oh my gosh, I love stuff like that. 17 minutes and 17 seconds as I say that. Bro, special interest. What are y'all's special interests? If you're still watching at this point, please put your special interest in the comments. I want to know what interests you and why. So you can put in, if you're not like much of a typer, you could say special interest is sneakers. Why? Dad was a sneakerhead. Or you could put a special interest, robotics. Why? Because I watched Robots with Will Smith. I don't know, but I would love to hear about y'all's special interests. I fucking love talking about people's special interests. It's my favorite thing. Gets me hype every time. But yeah, so we covered a lot of ground in this video. I actually feel really good about this video. There have been a couple of videos that I've done where after I got done with it, I was looking in the mirror like, who are we? I don't like that. But it's crazy because not every video is going to be a banger. Not every video that I do is going to be interesting. In fact, there are quite a few videos where I'm like, this kind of feels like a throwaway video, but then somebody will message me and be like, hey, yo, thanks for posting that because I needed to hear X, Y, and Z, or it gave me an idea, or I felt supported. And I want all of those things for you guys. Again, you don't have to subscribe, but when you do, I appreciate it. You don't have to like the video, but when you do, I appreciate it. I love it. I love to see it. You don't have to comment, but when you do, I literally go and I grab myself a snack and I sit there and I read the comments and I smile to myself while kicking my feet. It's the best. It's the best. This one was very animated as well. I'm feeling much better. I think in the last video or the video before that, I was like, I'm really sad. It's a lot of sad things going on in my life right now, and I just don't know how to feel, and I'm stressed. But today I feel completely different. Like, literally, I let my inner child drive today, and she was like, this is what we're gonna do, and I was like, cool, I'm on it. I'm so happy. I have leftover Chinese for lunch tomorrow. What I really want is some Chipotle. I'm not sponsored, but if I ever got sponsored by Chipotle, I would lose my fucking mind, because Chipotle is so good. And when they do like the limited time meats, they one time did a garlic steak. I only had the luxury of trying it once, and it was so fucking good. I was like, why is this limited time? And they're like, because it's good. I was like, I get it. I get it. But it's so good. I love Chipotle. I love Chipotle so much. Oh my god. Because it's so fresh, and you can either do like a cold thing. So sometimes I'll do like a salad with protein, but then other times I do a burrito. And I love those burritos. I love when a burrito makes me work for it. Really, I love when any food looks at me and goes, how bad do you want me? I love that. I love that. I'm like, oh, cheeky burrito. Quite cheeky indeed. I love it. I love it. I love it. I really, really love it. We just out here living. Bro, I'm gonna be so annoying. I'm gonna be so annoying to my future boyfriend and then eventual husband. I apologize for nothing. I'm gonna annoy the shit out of you. There's gonna be nothing you can do about it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Just let me love you, and I will love you until you learn to love yourself. Just let me love you. That's where I'm at. Like, just let me love you. Just let me get my hands on you. I just can't wait to just like squeeze your face. Just kiss you all over your face. And then mess with your eyebrows and stick my finger up your nose. It's one of the things I do. I'll walk up to my mom sometimes and I'm just like, beep. And she's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. My parents frequently will tell me. They're like, you are so weird. And I'm like, now I know y'all did not just look at me and say that, when it's both of y'all that made me. I love how parents be like, who raised you? Who? Last time I checked, it was you. Last time I checked, it was you. Last time I checked, I didn't just pop out and it was just me, just out here living, doing my thing by myself. No. Y'all raised me. They're home videos to prove it, dog. They're home videos. And they was acting weird in the home videos. They had me at like in their early 20s. So I actually have surpassed both of them. I beat teen pregnancy, no. No, but I really my mom was like, yeah, by the time I was your age, I think by the time my mom was my age, she had 4 kids. And I was like, damn. Sorry about it. I'm really not, because my sister has 3 kids, so they got grandkids. They're good. And I know my other 2 siblings are in the market for children as well, so they can wait. Patience is a virtue. Okay? It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. Bro, the amount of people who were upset when I was like, yeah, so I'm getting divorced. And they were like, what? We were so excited for you to have mixed babies. And I was like, why y'all so weird? Why couldn't y'all just say you were excited for me to have kids? I mean, that's weird, but the fact that you specifically said mixed babies? What do you mean by that? Why was you excited for that? I'm just saying. People always be saying, I'm just saying. Bitch, just say somewhere else. Just say out of my face. I don't know. I'm really on one tonight. I'm really trying to be on one. Yo, the degeneracy. The types of thoughts I be having that run through my head be crazy. They be crazy. I'm like, listen, I'm trying to be flipped over. I'm trying to be out here doing acrobatics. That's why I've been back in the gym. I take this shit seriously. I'm fun to have fun. I'm fun to have fun. And I know some people might be like, that's TMI. Bitch, I've been on here being vulnerable as shit about my whole life. It was bound to be in this area. It was bound to happen. I mean, I'm never gonna, like, come at y'all with some super details, because why would I do that? That's kind of weird. But, you know, I'm gonna be happy as shit when that new relationship comes through. When it comes through. When it comes through, I'ma be ready. When it comes through, I'ma be right there. With bells and whistles, I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be there. Babe, what you doing? Babe, what you doing? Are you coming at me? Babe, what you doing? Babe, what you doing? Babe, what you doing? Alright, I've done enough. I hope you guys have an amazing night. I hope you have an amazing morning, evening, afternoon, night, wherever you're at, whatever the last 12-hour period was. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you continue to feel good. I hope you get rest. I hope you get some food. I hope you drink water. I hope you love yourself. I hope you step into your power, and I hope you realize how amazing and wonderful and beautiful you are just for existing. There's nothing else you have to do to have worth. You're beautiful. You're handsome. You're iconic. You're slaying. You're serving. And I am so proud of you all for the work that you've done. Also, yes, as a last thing, thank you, Psychic Zuki, I think, for responding with your video. Your favorite video. Because I'm gonna go watch that. I'm probably gonna leave a comment on it. So I will see you in your comment section. But I love you guys. Love you guys so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of wherever you're at. And I'm gonna holler at you guys tomorrow night, as I tend to do. Mwah.